So let's talk about all your specialization certifications.
Sure.
So I know you are orthopedic certified specialist, certified Mulligan practitioner, certified integrated manual therapist, and advanced hip clinician, among others. So what skills did you develop during these certifications and throughout your career? And how do you think that they help you on your practice?
Well, I think it's always interesting. For me, looking back at it, all those things that you go through, like the OCS exam, the Orthopedic Clinical Specialist exam, I took that originally back in the late 90s after completing graduate school because I felt like I had been on top of the current level of where we were at the time as far as the research and the implementation and what was sort of expected for that level. I've taken the exam twice more. I've always done it by exam. I took the exam a couple of years ago, so I may have to take it one more time. You never know. It depends on how long I want to practice. But I think preparing for those exams, I think has more to do with the integration and thinking of bringing yourself tighter in your thinking, much like having students. It brings you tighter in your thinking and your own ability to be discerning about the tools you're using and not just being sort of loosely like, oh yeah, I think, we should be thinking about range of motion first, or, some sort of loose aggregation. You have the real tight definitions down of what other people have developed as clinical sort of pathways and tools. And I think that's the advantage as well about following through with any school of thought. I know you are MDT, McKenzie person, which is wonderful. I have many friends who are, and I have great value and feelings about that. In fact, that's one of my favorite books are the McKenzie books on the lumbar spine and the cervical spine. When you have the two volume series, I own those. I love them because I like the in-depth nature of how they go through things. To me, that's also what you get when you go through a series or a course, whether that's, when you look at Maitland, Mulligan, Kaltenborn, University of St. Augustine's graduate programs, any school or organizational thought. I like the idea of people thinking like, yeah, I want to have a lot of choices, but to have one or two that you really go through very keenly and understand deeply so that you have a reference or a base of how you then move forward with other classes. Because it's always nice to add other tools in, but it's nice to have some plan or programmatic base structure you can build those others off of, because you have to develop your own style as well. They give you tools. Everyone's smart who goes to PT school. I haven't met a dumb one. What we have to do is use those tools in our own way, matching how you perceive things and interact with patients. That's a much trickier part, but I do think that everyone you add on after having some base really gives you different facets of sort of thinking about particular things, whether it's connective tissue, whether it's about mobilization, whether it's about exercise progression, whether it's about how do you produce feedback for patients. All of these things gain so much more sort of differential angles, and it's not linear. You don't have the one way of I'm doing this, because as we all know, we run into patients and the one way we try and then it doesn't work. So what are you left to do? Well, it's great to have colleagues and friends to help with, but the more you can sort of continue to develop and learn from them as well, right? Learning from your colleagues is, I think, as valuable as almost anything else, because you can have those deeper conversations. But I think, developing those additional skills broadens that approach, and you can make mistakes, but you have to realize our goal is to help that person do better. And it's okay to do something and it doesn't produce results, but you just can't keep doing it.